whiskey lovers, welcome once more in Mark's Whiskey Basement here in Belgium for another whiskey rambling. And I would like to take you back to the very beginning. Those of you who have been following these ramblings will remember that the very first whiskey rambling, the first experiment, was indeed with a whiskey that I had created myself that had the name First Experiment, and it was created at the website whiskyblenders.com. It's a website with a couple of young people behind it. Drew is one of them, who's become a bit of a friend. Their idea was, we'll take some nice whiskies, both grain and malt whiskies, we'll give them a special name, burnt vanilla, banana split, taste of the sea, stuff like that, and allow people to create their own blend on the website and then label it as if it was their own and their unique whiskey, which of course it is. Now I'll admit my first experiment was a bit of a cock-up. I admit I was playing with the gizmos on the website instead of really thinking about creating that website, about creating that whiskey, I mean, and hence my experiment was a bit unbalanced, a bit rough. The whiskey was not very good, but that again was my very own mistake. Now that first experiment is long gone, of course. That bottle is empty. I've shared it with friends. I've even blended some into some cocktail sauce, but don't tell anyone. The only good thing that came from the first experiment was that online there was this contest, name the best created whiskey from Whiskey Blender, and I won with my first experiment, thanks to you, my friends, who voted on Facebook, etc. So the only good thing that came from it is that this bottle of whiskey was won. It is a concoction by John Lamond, Whiskey Connoisseur Extraordinaire, the truly scrumptious blend. So thank you, Mr. Lamond. This is in my collection and will be opened, but not before I finish these, because I don't want my dreams shattered, because I think I may have created something worthwhile now, so I'll keep this for afterwards. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, so for my second experiment and my third experiment, I had thought a little more about the whiskies. So I was thinking, if you remember, that you need to have a leading malt and then put some extras on there, you know. And I did that with both of these, and you will find that the second experiment will be fresh and fruity, because my leading malt was banana split with a whole bunch of soft and fruity, and the extras are vanilla fudge, burnt pudding and touch of spice. So I wanted to create here a fruity, quaffable whiskey. My third experiment, that was going to be special. In this case, as you will see on the recipe, in this case my leading malt was taste of the sea, and the extras were smoke on the water and touch of spice. So of the 7 or 8 casks that are available, I only used 3 in this case, 5 in this case, so not all of them. And oh wonder, how do I know there's also malt whiskey used at Whiskey Blenders? Because this one is not a blended Scotch whiskey. No, it has become a blended malt Scotch whiskey. So, taste of the sea, smoke on the water, touch of spice. It's all malt. Go get it. Right, okay, here we go. So, let's see what we can come up with here. Let's start with, well, let me put that out of the way for you. Let's start with the second experiment. It's bright golden. It does not really cling to the glass. The third experiment is a bright golden as well. You couldn't mistake them. Although it's a shade darker, not much, but just a tad darker. This one does cling to the glass, so that's good news. Good news indeed. Alright, here we go. Both are bottled at 40% ABV. Oh. This one it's fruity, very fruity in fact. It's a bit, it reminds me of overripe bananas, you know, the brown bananas, really brown bananas. But also some green apples, there's some nice almond oil in there, some blueberries, some oranges and melon, so this is very, very fruity, very fresh. And fruity was the goal. It's not spicy at all. There's a hint of Pilsner there though. Pretty malty. But very fruity, so I've achieved my goal nose-wise on this one. Here I wanted to create something very special. My third experiment was supposed to be a peaty, you know, well, the main ingredient is taste of the sea, so I was looking for something Isla-like. And I've been fooled because this is spring fresh. It's very fruity. There's lemon in there, there's pineapple cubes, gooseberries, quite some toffee as well, some mint, almonds. Again, this is very fruity, but there's even a hint of tonic and malt. But it's a very eager nose. It's very, yeah, it wants to get out there. There is a pinch of salt, but well, it's not an Isla yet. No, not by a long shot. All right, let's go back to the second experiment, which was very fruity and fresh. It is fruity, with some vanilla, caramel. The fruit is there again, like the green apples, but it lacks a bit of body. Again, it's a bit light. The taste is good though, but the mouthfeel is a bit light. It's a bit spicy now. There were no spices on the nose, but now it becomes a bit spicy. There's some dried ginger maybe. Yeah, some nutmeg, just a pinch of pepper. It's very, very accessible though. Very light and fragrant. I like it. The finish, while short, it is very sweet and spicy. So this is nice. It's quite an improvement with regards to my first experiment, that's for sure. It's quite an improvement. This is a true card player's whiskey. This is very quaffable. Put that on the table while playing cards, it will be gone before you know it. My third experiment, however, here I was looking for something more, you know, it's coming through now. After I've left it to breathe just a little here, it is coming through a bit. Now this is good. This is good. This got a mouth coating body, great mouthfeel. It coats it completely. It sticks to your teeth. Well spiced. A good pinch of salt now. Now it's really becoming, now the taste of the sea and the touch of smoke, they're coming through. They're coming through. This is good. This is good. It's an accessible lemon eau de vie, but with a smoky jacket. I like this. And it becomes peatier. Mid-palate, it becomes peatier. At the back of your throat, you can feel the pepper kicking in, the peat revealing itself more and more. It may be a young whiskey, but it's clearly there. And I'm not just saying that because these appear to be all malt whiskies and no grain whiskies. That's not the reason. But this is, it remains discreet and subtle, the peat, but it is there, it is clearly there. And there's some guimauve in there as well. You know guimauve? It's the, how to explain guimauve? Well, Google is your friend. But guimauve is the, you know, they have these little Holy Mary statues in candy. You have them in white and pink and yellow and whatnot. That material is guimauve. So that's what I'm getting in here as well, which is rather exceptional for whiskey. I've only had it once before, but it's in here as well, and I really like it. The finish on this is, it's fairly long, and it's sweet and spicy. It's exactly what I was looking for. And it fades very softly on smoke. This is a whiskey that makes me happy. I'm going to get me another one of these. And if you would like, you can too, of course. I can, I'll give you the bottle code. You can find the bottle code. What does it say here? Well, I'll find the bottle code. I will make the bottle code appear at the bottom of your screen here, so you can try it as well and see if this experiment that I've conducted is indeed worthwhile. In my case, it is not that peaty. It reminds me a bit of the Six Isles or something like that. So not in your face. Maybe some black bottle-ish, not in your face, but still there. It's a nice introduction to Islay whiskies, I believe. It's not very peaty, but it is a very successful experiment in my opinion. So, whiskeyblender.com, check them out because you can create your own very unique whiskey. And I must say, while my first experiment was, like I said, a cock-up, my second experiment is right on spot on. It's fresh and fruity. But my third experiment, well, that is my third experiment. It is a very good whiskey in my opinion, and I'm going to get me some more of these. I hope to see you again at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Until then, may the malt be with you.